can I request you to give us an idea about this term, climate justice? And also for those colleagues who may not be that familiar with climate change, what do we mean by climate change? What do we mean by climate justice? Is this the right terminology to be used? And also, please link with the other part of the topic, reaching the unreachable. Who are the unreachable? So over to you, Ramboj.
As we know, climate change, it impacts not equally or fairly rich or poor, women, men, older and younger generation, those who are poor, those who are underprivileged, they are more vulnerable. So, in that context, climate justice is a form of environmental justice for the fair treatment of all people equally and equitably without any discrimination, and it favors policies and programs that address climate change as well as the systems
Mhm.
that creates climate change and also perpetuate discrimination. So climate justice in that way, it provides basis for an ethical and social dimension rather than purely scientific, environmental or physical nature of climate change, the climate crisis.
You have given us, Dr. Rambuj, a very interesting concept also, the small islands and developing states. And from your work, I know you have worked on one of these SIDS, as we call them, called Maldives. And you have played a very important role for Maldives to become what we call within UNESCO system a biosphere reserve. So can you please relate your experience with the Maldives now and what is so important for them to become a model for considering all those dimensions?
Maldives is one country which is just a meter, you can say, above the sea level. So it's around 1000, 1150 to be precise, small islands, mainly atolls in the Indian Ocean. And the government is it's afraid of the global warming consequences, particularly sea level rise, that this country will become non-existent in case we do not take action. So it's a very, very sensitive island nation. There was effort to have a biosphere reserve. As you rightly said, biosphere reserves are the right places for combining the sustainable development as well as the conservation, both together. It's a kind of, you can say, doing the environmental justice with the communities because it's a biosphere reserve,
Good.
man as well as the environment. So that from the justice point of view, this was a great decision. Government of Maldives declared one of their very important atolls as a biosphere, that is called as Ba Atoll.
Wow.
And the government was so much impressed that they have now pledged to declare the whole island nation as a biosphere reserve in next 10 years.
That programs like the Man and Biosphere program, they can help us consider these important environmental justice, climate justice dimensions and take the whole society forward to be inclusive of all those ideas. And I'm also very pleased to know that Japan Fund interests were useful to continue to work in this area. Let's focus now, next step on it, the education element. And education for sustainable development is very important, and global citizenship education is very important for making sure people are aware about these challenges and they are aware about their rights and they understand their own role and the role of different players. Can you please give us an idea about education for sustainable development, how it can link with environmental justice, climate justice, and what can be done? And in your present role, you are also promoting education for sustainable development.
The UNESCO, in fact, the which is the lead agency for ESD in the UN system, has already identified climate change as the priority area for ESD. Climate change and disaster risk reduction, DRR, these are so important. So in that way, uh, the climate justice uh, is about educating the policymakers particularly. Of course, all the stakeholders need to be educated about the sustainability principles, how we can it's a intergenerational equity, what we call the whole this Fridays for Future, the student movement led by Greta Thunberg, is about all about educating the people about sustainability, uh, bringing climate change legislations, enabling policies in various countries. UNESCO has already initiated a prize for the Young Scientist Award for the Biosphere Reserve, those who work in that area. And there is also the award for the scientists, I think it's Sultan Qaboos Award. uh, so similarly, regional level, uh, these universities, they can be associated with nearby biosphere reserves, and they can take in India what happens. Every biosphere reserve is associated with a supporting institution, and this institution is provided by the MAP committee support also to do targeted research. A lot of when I was there in UNESCO, we took a lot of interns who
Mhm.
were involved with these biosphere reserves to produce a small thesis, some kind of quality work.
So first of all, climate change is still an emergency. COVID is an emergency, and we need to carefully consider the social and ethical aspects, along with, of course, the science aspects and the governance aspects of how do we make sure that nobody is left behind? How do we make sure those people who have been unreachable, they are reached first? So that's a very big challenge for all organizations, including NGOs, where Dr. Rambuj is leading one of those NGOs and have played a role before in UNESCO. So we have to think beyond our own disciplines and where we are working. We have to link together and work together. That's very important. Also, in this conversation, we have learned about what JFIT has been doing with the work which Dr. Rambuj has described to us, the biosphere reserves, a very important concept. Biosphere reserves as models for sustainable development, and Maldives as a nation, as a small island, becoming a whole biosphere reserve, and has been very successful in bringing all these aspects together, and has major challenges for climate change. As Dr. Rambu told us, maybe the space for the sea level rise is not so big, maybe a meter or so, and we have to work on those emergency measures. We need to have partnerships, and this partnership between university, the United Nations, the system, and also very importantly with the relevant government and all those people who are far away. How do we bring them together? Universities must take a role of leadership in these sites and create excitement for young people. Young people must take the lead in demanding, first of all, for climate justice by knowing what climate justice really means, what environmental justice means. How do we make sure that all those who are unheard are properly heard? And building back better must consider the green recovery part of it with the climate justice, local ownership, and making sure that we are moving to a future which should help us be more resilient and more sustainable. And those principles from different disciplines of social and natural sciences should come together.